Hello everyone, my name is Nikhil sir of support classes at University Road, Sholapur. We have started 9th chapter in science of class 9 NCERT, that is force and laws of motion. In that we have completed some part of this chapter in our previous videos. Now we will move towards the next part in this chapter. Please students, those who have not seen my previous videos, you can see those videos. I have given you links of those videos in my description box. You can check my description box and please see those videos. Now we will move towards the next part in this chapter, that is example 9.6. A bullet of mass 20 gram is horizontally fired with a velocity 150 meter per second from a pistol of mass 2 kilogram. Then we have to calculate what is the recoil velocity of the pistol. First we can take the mass of pistol, that is 2 kilogram, then mass of bullet, that is 20 gram, and its velocity, that is 150 meter per second. First we will see what are given in this example. Let's we consider means given, that is mass of pistol. See here, mass of pistol is 2 kilogram. See here, mass of first we have taken before firing. This mass of pistol is 2 kilogram. We have taken 2 kilogram. Then its initial velocity, see it is now in rest, that's why we have taken initial velocity 0. And this pistol is before firing, that's why we have taken, that is V is equal to, means final velocity is also 0, means we have to calculate. Second, in the second case, now pistol is there, that is bullet of mass, that is, see here, bullet is there, it is after the fire, but when it fire, mass of bullet is 20 gram. Then it convert into kilogram, we have to divide by 1000, it becomes 00. First you cancel these zeros, then it becomes 0.02 kilogram. Its initial velocity, see here, first after the firing, means first stage is its initial velocity 0 and its final velocity, that is 150 meter per second. Now we know that by the law of conservation of momentum, that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. First m1 we have taken here, m1 2, then u1 0, means into 0, plus then em2 0.02 kilogram, means 0.02 into u2 is also 0, is equal to m1 2 here, then v1, that is we have to calculate v1 as it is, plus then m2 0.02 into v2 150, then here 200, 0.0 into 0, 0 is equal to into v1, 2v1 plus 0.02 into 150, 15 to the 30, give 0 and put point after 2 digit, 1 2 means point here. Now 0 plus 0, 0 is equal to 2 v1 plus 3. Now take 3 on left hand side, it becomes minus 3. Then here 2 is with v1, multiplication is there, you can take on left hand side, it becomes denominator. Now when we divide 3 by 2, it becomes 1.5 minus as it is equal to v1. Then v1 is equal to minus 1.5 meter per second. Means here we have asked here what is the recoil velocity of the pistol. Recoil means when we start that gun means when we shoot, that time bullet goes on and that pistol becomes backside, that is recoil velocity, and its recoil velocity is minus 1.5 meter per second. Just we have calculated. Now we will move towards on next example. In next example, see the question is there 9.7. A girl of mass 40 kilogram jumps with a horizontal velocity of 5 meter per second onto a stationary car with a frictionless wheels. Now one girl is there, its mass 40 kilogram and its velocity 5, means this is the initial velocity 5 meter per second onto a stationary car with a frictionless wheels. The mass of the car is 3 kilogram. Mass of car is 3 kilogram. This M2. What is her velocity as the car starts moving? We have to calculate her velocity. It is initial velocity 0 and we have to calculate its velocity. Assume that there is no external unbalanced force working in horizontal direction, and there is no unbalanced force working on a horizontal direction. See here, two pictures are given. This is a first picture and this is a second. Now first we will take mass of this girl is 40 kilogram, its velocity 5 meter per second, and this is before on this cart. Now for that we have taken, first we consider M1, that is 40 kilogram, then its initial velocity 5 meter per second, velocity we don't know, that's why we have taken here question mark. Now here, now when that girl is climb on this car, we have to add the two masses, first one this girl and second one the mass of car. Here 40 plus 3, it becomes 43. I have, means you know the where it comes 43 kilogram. Now means its mass of velocity is only 3 kilogram. That's why we have taken here M2 3 kilogram, U we don't know, that is initial velocity 0, and velocity V2 is also we don't know, sorry, final velocity also we don't know. Now we have calculated V1 and V2, means velocity of this, means in the first picture the velocity of this girl, and when it climbs on that car we have to find out this velocity. For that we will take just only velocity, that is V. Now we know that law of conservation of momentum, that is M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Put up these values, that is M 40 into U1 5 plus M2 3 U2 0 is equal to M1 40 into, we have considered V and V2 only velocity, that's why we have taken V, plus M2 3 into V. Here 4 5s are 20, put 0 means 200, plus 3 0 0, then 40 into V 40V plus 3 into V 3V, 200 plus 0 200 is equal to 40V plus 3V, it becomes 43V. Now take here 43 on left hand side, here multiplication is there, when it comes on left hand it becomes denominator, therefore V is equal to 200 upon 43. when we divide to 200 by 43, it becomes V is equal to 4.65 meter per second. Means here we asked what is the velocity of the car, that is velocity of car is see here in question asked what is her velocity as the car start moving. 4.65 meter per second velocity as the car start moving. This is the answer. Now we will move towards on next page. Next example 9.8. Two hockey players of opposite teams, while trying to hit a hockey ball on the ground, collide and immediately become entangled. Now two hockey players are there of opposite team, while trying to hit a hockey ball onto the ground, collide and immediately becomes entangled. One has a mass of 60 kg and was moving with velocity 5.0 meter per second. See here, one player has a mass 60 kg and he is moving with a 5.0 meter per second velocity. Next, while the other has a mass of 55 kg and was moving faster with a velocity 6.0 meter per second towards the first player. Means now the second player is there, his mass 55 kg and he is moving with a 6 meter per second velocity opposite to this. Means we have to take here minus because he is coming opposite to this player. Next, in which direction and with what velocity will they move after they become entangled? We have to find the direction and velocity. Assume that the frictional force acting between the feet of the two players and ground is negligible. See here, for this question we will do the same way what you have did in before means in previous two examples. See here, first we will take the mass of first player, that is m1, and mass of second player, that is m2, and their velocity respectively. See here, first we have taken em1, that is 60 kg, its initial velocity 5 meter per second, final velocity we don't know, we have to calculate. Now second, mass 55 kg, initial velocity 6 meter per second, and its final velocity we don't know. That's why now we have to find both the velocity. That's why we have taken here in place of v1 v2 only v. Now we know that the law of conservation of momentum, that is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Put up the above value in the formula, that is m60 into u5 plus m2 55 into u2 minus 6. I have told you this player is opposite to this player, that's why we have to take here minus its velocity, that is minus 6 is equal to m1 60 v1 v, we have taken only velocity, plus m2 55 v2 v. Now 6 5s are 30, put 0 means 300. Now here plus minus multiplication 55 into 6 330 is equal to 60v plus 55v, that is 115v. Now subtract 300 from 330, it becomes minus 30 because greater number is there, so take greater sign, is equal to 115 velocity. Take here on left hand side 115, it becomes in denominator side. Now minus 30 upon 115 is equal to only v. when we divide 230 by 115, it becomes minus 0.26 v. It means its velocity minus 0.26. And we have asked here direction. The direction is from right to left here. In which direction? Direction is right to left. And with what velocity will they move? Velocity is minus 0.26 meter per second. This is a velocity. Sorry, I forgot here to write meter per second. Velocity will they move after they become entangled. Now we will move towards on next questions. See here some questions you have asked. First question: if action is always equal to the reaction, explain how a horse can pull a cart. See here, if action is always equal to the reaction, action is always equal to the reaction. We have seen in Newton's third law. Explain how a horse can pull a cart. See the answer. A horse pushes the ground in the backward direction. The horse pushes the ground in the backward direction. Means the horse do in this way. According to Newton's third law of motion, a reaction force is exerted by the earth on the horse in the forward direction. And according to the Newton's third law, a reaction force is exerted on the earth on the horse in the forward direction, and horse gives in backward direction force. As a result, the cart moves forward. This is the answer. Now next question is that explain why is it difficult for a fireman to hold a horse which ejects large amount of water at a high velocity. I will read again one time the question. Explain why is it difficult for a fireman, means why it is difficult to the fireman to hold a horse which ejects large amount of water at a high velocity. See the answer. When fireman directs a large amount of water at a high velocity of fire from a hose pipe, they have to hold the pipe strongly because of its tendency to go backwards. Now force is on that fireman and it goes backward side. The backward movement of the hose pipe is due to the backward reaction force of water rushing out through it in the forward direction at a high speed as per the Newton's third law of motion. Next, now one question is there, that is from a rifle of mass 4 kg, a bullet of mass 50 gram is fired with an initial velocity of 35 meter per second. Calculate the initial recoil velocity of the fire. This answer you have to solve as per the same we have solved in equation number first. In this way, first you have to take M1, means mass of the rifle, that is 4 kg, initial velocity 0, and here V1 is also we have to calculate. Second, that mass of bullet is 50 gram. We have to convert 0 into kilogram, means we have to divide 1000, it becomes 0.05 kilogram. Initial velocity 35 meter per second, and here we don't know final velocity. Now two velocities are there. means we will take only v, means we have to calculate only velocity. We know that the law of conservation of momentum, m1 un plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Put the above values, m4 into u1 0 plus m2 0.05 into v2 35 is equal to m1 4 into v plus m2 0.05 v. Here 4 into 0 0 plus 0.05 into 35, it becomes 1.75 is equal to 4 into v 4v plus 0.05 into v 0.05 v. Then 0 into 1.75, it becomes 1.75 is equal to, here take addition, 4v plus 0.05v, it becomes 4.05v. Now take here on left hand side, that is 4.05, it becomes denominator. When we divide 1.75 by 4.0.5, it becomes 0.43 v, means velocity we have got here 0.43 meter per second. Here asked what is the initial recoil velocity. In recoil velocity means when that gun backward on the direction, that is v is 0.43 meter per second. Now we will take the next example, that is fourth one. Here asked two objects of masses 100 and 200 gram are moving along the same line and direction with velocities of 2 meter per second and 1 meter per second respectively. They collide, and after the collision the first object moves at a velocity of 1.67 meter per second. Determine the velocity of the second object. Sorry, this part now it visible. In this question they have given masses of two moving objects and their velocity, means initial velocity. Final velocity has given of first object, we have to determine velocity of second object. See here, you can solve, student, by the third example in the given textbook in the same way. m1 100 gram, m2 200 gram. Initial velocity u1 2 meter per second, u2 1 meter per second. Final velocity 1.67 meter per second, v2 we have to find out. We know that m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2 by the law of conservation of momentum. Then you can solve this by putting the values. m1 100 into u1 2 plus m2 200 into u2 1 is equal to m1 100 into v1 1.67 plus m2 200 into v2 as it is. Then 100 into 2 200 plus 200 into 1 200 is equal to 100 into 1.67. Cut this 0 and cut this point, it becomes only 167 plus 200 into v2 200 v2. Addition 400 plus 167 plus 200 v2. Now take here 167 on left hand side, it becomes minus 400 minus 167 is equal to 200 v2. Subtract 167 from 400, it becomes 233 is equal to 200 v2. Take 200 on left hand side, it becomes denominator. When we divide 233 by 200, it becomes 1.17 is equal to v2. That's why v2 is equal to 1.17 meter per second. We have, as per the question, we have to determine the velocity of second object, that is 1.17 meter per second. I hope you understood it better. If any queries is there, please ask your query, student, and please comment to this video, and please subscribe my channel and tell your friend, neighbors and relatives to subscribe and share to your friend, relatives and neighbors this video. Thank you.